All right, here we go. Episode 3 of the Ballverse. I'm Jared.
Camden.
All right, so got a fun one here today. We're gonna do a quick little rundown of what's just been going on in sports the past few days, and then we will do a very immersive 2-round full NBA mock draft, which will be a lot of fun. I think.
Got a lot prep for that.
Yes, spent a lot of time working on it. So excited for you guys to look at our picks and see what you think. So first, we're gonna talk about the NHL. Got our Stanley Cup final set. Canadians Thunder. What do you think about that, Camden?
God, who would have thought the Canadians would have been here? That is hilarious. They are not a good team, but you get lucky, you get a few breaks, you play hard, and that is just how the Stanley Cup goes.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, I don't know, it's tough to count against them at this point. They're kind of a Cinderella. It's fun, but I do have, a vested interest in the Lightning winning, so I am glad that they made it in what turned out to be a fantastic series with the Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think the Lightning pulled this out. But God, it's been fun watching the Canadians.
Yeah. I think we did talk about this in either episode 1 or episode 2, but I did have the Lightning and Canadian meeting up in the Stanley Cup Finals. So,
And who'd you have winning?
I had the Lightning, just
Okay,
like
good.
you have a vested interest in them, but
Good,
yeah,
'cause it
Lightning are
seems like
just
your
way too good on
predictions.
paper. Like you mentioned last episode, they are like over the salary cap, and
Yeah, we
so
don't know if Kucherov is playing right now. He's questionable, but
yeah,
they're such a good team. There's so much. They're
yeah.
just miles away better than the Montreal Canadiens right
Oh,
now. But
mm-hmm. But
Carey
you
Price
never
gets
know
hot,
what could
and
happen. I mean, Cinderella story. You never know.
yeah, a goalie gets hot in the playoffs, and anything can happen. And that's what Carey Price is doing right now.
He's recapturing the golden days. Um, but then NBA, lots of news in there. First off, Suns have a 2-1 series lead on the Clippers now. Suns had a very quick 2-0 lead and thought Chris Paul was going to get them to 3-0, but instead it's 2-1 now. So what do you think about that series?
Is Leonard still out?
Yeah, Leonard's out for foreseeable future.
So we don't anticipate him coming back.
I don't believe so.
All right. The
Maybe
Suns
in
are
the
gonna
finals.
the Suns are gonna clap the Clippers then. I don't think the Clippers have it's hard enough keeping up with Devin Booker,
Yeah, he's
but
already
Chris
ruled out
Paul,
for game 4, so I don't know. He
Leonard.
yeah.
Yeah, because then the Phoenix Suns they look healthy. Chris Paul's back. This might be the one game the Clippers win,
Mm-hmm. I could see
and the Suns will finish it out in 5, which is cool. I mean, Devin Booker's awesome. I'd love to see Booker versus probably Trae Young in the finals. I think that would be the most exciting finals matchup.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, speaking of that, Bucks just tied the series last night in dominant fashion too over the Hawks. 34-point win, which is just crazy. But yeah, what do you
I
think
don't know
about that?
how long Trae Young can just do everything. I get it's not a bad roster around him, but he has been living and dying every night on the court. I love how he's become this kind of Isaiah Thomas, not new Isaiah Thomas, but old Pistons Isaiah Thomas, how he was kind of, he'd taunt you. He was this bad guy, and he played the villain role perfectly and got in the opposing team's head. I think Trae Young's doing a lot of that, so it's a lot of fun watching. I've loved Trae Young since he entered the league. I think the way he plays and
Mm-hmm.
the way he carries himself is a lot of fun and good for the league.
Yeah. But Trae Young did struggle yesterday. He only got 15 points on 6 of 16 shooting. Also had 9 turnovers, which obviously can't do that. That'll lose you games. Turning the ball over that much. Nearly had a double-double and not in a good way.
Yeah, and is it the Bucks figuring him out? Is it him finally cooling off because he's been riding this high for so long? Or was that just him tired for a game and he'll come back and take over?
Mm-hmm.
Really, the Hawks are going to live and die by what he's able to do.
Right. And plus, don't forget, Hawks won game 1, so they did steal the series a little bit. They're going back to Atlanta for games 3 and 4 with, home court advantage. So that'll be fun to
Are they at
see.
full capacity?
I believe so. I believe most places are at full capacity.
If the Montreal Canadiens aren't, that's going to be a weird Stanley Cup. When was this article from? That's May. I think if they're not at full. Yeah, it looks like they're at full capacity.
Yep. Most Canadian teams are not at full capacity.
Right, it's going to be weird.
I mean, Blue Jays don't even play games at Toronto. They're playing in Buffalo.
It's so funny. They're like, we care about hockey, so we'll do the traveling for the hockey, but keep that baseball away.
Or basketball, I believe.
Where are the Raptors playing?
I believe they ended up playing in Florida this past season.
Yeah.
Which is probably why they were so bad this year.
Yeah, I don't know if that's why, but
I mean, they got a top 4 pick.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with it shortly.
Yeah, they played at Amalia Arena, which is in Tampa.
Yeah, that's also where the Lightning play.
Yeah.
All right. Any other big news? You got any predictions? I mean, we could say Shohei Ohtani. He hit me another home run yesterday.
Talk a little bit about the MLB home run battle. I mean, you got Tatis Jr., Guerrero, and Shohei at 25 and 24. So nice, and especially Tatis Jr. yesterday hitting 3 home runs.
God, he's exciting. He brings a level of excitement that the MLB needs, because as good as Vlad is, he doesn't carry himself that same way. And with Ohtani, he plays, in Los Angeles, which I guess Tatis has that same problem playing on the West Coast. But Ohtani's kind of this mystical figure. We don't know a lot about him, and he does everything better than everybody else. But Tatis, he just carries himself. He kind of similar to the whole Trae Young thing. They're just the most fun players in the league, and he's really good for baseball because they haven't had a player like that in a long time.
Yeah, Vlad just goes about his ways, and he lets his skills do talking. He lets his plate powers, show.
It reminds me of Cabrera in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but Cabrera, he expressed himself on the field. I mean, I'm sure you've seen all the compilations of him having fun during games and stuff. So.
Oh, the cup tap with Ohtani the other week.
Yeah.
When he would rub Adrian Beltre's head because Beltre had something about touching his hair.
Yes, he hated that. Well, because he didn't have any hair.
Well, his head then, his scalp.
Right.
He didn't like touching his scalp.
I guess, yeah. But one last thing talk about before we move on to the mock draft. But Blazers and Mavericks found their head coaches. Blazers, they're pretty much about to hire Chauncey Billups as head coach. And then Mavs are about to get Jason Kidd. What do you think is the better hire?
So, I've always thought Jason Kidd was a brilliant coach. He always knows what he's doing.
Has previous experience.
But in that previous experience that you're mentioning, players didn't exactly love playing for him.
Mm-hmm.
So if that works out well.
I thought I heard Giannis loved playing for him, though, back when he was on the Bucks.
Right. It might have been that case where you either loved or hated him.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can have a good energy around the team, and as long as they're winning, I'm sure no one's going to be complaining, similar to Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
So he's brilliant and he knows what he's doing. Chauncey, I'm surprised he's a head coach. I thought he was more looking for front office work.
I guess his viewpoint changed in the past few years, but
Because I remember there were rumors about him being like the Pistons GM or something. Maybe I'm not remembering that correctly, but that'll be interesting to see. Obviously, a huge Chauncey fan, so I'm
mhm.
also a huge Blazers fan, so I think that's fun.
Yeah, and he'll be mentoring Damian Lillard a little bit.
I
So
don't think
that'll
Dame
be
needs
fun to see.
mentorship at this point.
Yeah.
I think
But
Dame
still,
needs help.
it'll be a fun dynamic to see Billups if they do finalize the signing. Uh, but yeah, he's been on the Clippers bench the past few years, so uh, yeah, it'll
Oh
be.
yeah, he was
Mhm.
with the Clips. Yeah. Well,
But
I hope it goes well. Big
yeah,
Chauncey fan, and I would love to see Dame win something. He deserves it.
absolutely, yeah, yep. He's always been so close, but never really gotten there.
Yeah, I don't. It's they're just. I don't think McCollum's the right Robin to his Batman. I just don't think that's the right guy.
Yeah, I've
Not that
seen
he's
some.
bad. It's just too similar of players.
Yeah, I've seen some people try and push for like a CJ McCollum trade, or
I just think it would
I've
make
seen like
sense.
a crazy one where it's McCollum for Ben Simmons.
I think that makes perfect sense. I think that makes sense for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're able to then put all their shooters around there, but
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
All right, but let's move on to this NBA mock draft. I think this will be a lot of fun. Take up a lot of time, but uh, it'll be a lot of fun seeing how we go about this and seeing who we draft. But
All
yeah,
right.
so we decided, the big Detroit sports fan you are, that you would get the first overall pick. So Camden, I guess you're on the clock. Number one pick for the
Okay.
Pistons.
You want me to pull this up?
Yeah, yeah,
Share this?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we got some website here. Not important. All right. So the Detroit Pistons getting the first overall pick in this draft is the most exciting thing that has happened to Detroit sports in years. Probably since the Wings won the cup back in 2008. I think they have an opportunity to get a player that is going to be the best drafted Piston since, gosh, Grant Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the first superstar. I haven't been this excited about the Pistons since they traded for Blake Griffin. And when they traded for Blake Griffin, you knew that was going to be short lived. You
Yeah,
knew that was a year and a half, 2 years of whatever he could give you. This is a completely different feeling. This is incredible. I don't understand why this website has Cade Cunningham listed as a small forward, but he's a
yeah,
point guard,
yeah.
shooting guard.
That's messed up.
He's a primary ball handler. He's 6'8", 220, the ability to overpower smaller defenders and the quickness and the brain to get his way through bigger defenders. He's brilliant. He sees the whole court. He's a primary decision maker. He's able to make that first pass. He's able to attack the defense. He can shoot. He's a 40% three-point shooter on almost 6 attempts per game in college. Incredible efficiency at incredible volume. His biggest drawback is he's not an elite athlete. He's not Josh Jackson running around out there, but he makes up for it in brilliance. Luka Doncic is one of the comps you get for him just because he doesn't have that same athletic, or he has the same athletic profile that's a bit underwhelming. But I don't think it matters. I think he's able to understand and handle the game in a way that no one else in this draft is able to, and he's going to completely change the fortunes of the Pistons, and it immediately makes the Pistons the best team in Detroit. Very excited for that. So he is. Where do I hit? Where do I draft?
Down, yeah, draft player.
Do I hit draft player?
Yeah, just hit that. Yep.
Okay. And Cade Cunningham is going
Yes.
first overall to the Detroit Pistons. I think we can all agree on that, and I'm very excited.
Yep. Yeah, no surprise there. Consensus number one overall pick. The only, shock that I've seen media try to push for is that the Pistons would trade the number 1 overall pick, but obviously I don't think that
Riot.
would happen.
There
Yeah,
would be a
no,
riot.
yeah, Detroit fans would riot if that happened. But second pick, Houston Rockets. Wow, take out 2 superstars there, and they have really fallen from grace.
Kidding.
Yeah, they had a rough season this past season. Worst team in the NBA. Don't really have the squad that they once had. Honestly, they have a lot of positions of need, but here I'm gonna go with position that I think is their they'll probably go for best player available here. Have him develop a season under Christian Wood. Maybe play alongside him at the power forward if they don't bring back Kelly Olynyk.
Even then, you need the defense.
But they got some good young players in Jayshawn Tate, who was on a first team all rookie, I believe, and then Kevin Porter Jr., who had a resurgence after getting dropped from the Cavs. But I believe this player is the consensus number 2 pick. Freshman out of USC, 7-foot center, Evan Mobley, going to the Rockets here at 2.
Yeah, I think that's solid.
He's fast. He's got a good skill set. He's got good length and size. Playing transition. Plays above the rim. High IQ. For his one season at USC averaged 16.4 points per game, 8.7 rebounds, 30% from 3. He just does it all. So, he has a high ceiling. So it'll be fun to see what Mobley can do. Most likely in Houston. So that is who I'm going with it too.
And I think that's solid. I think they need someone who can play defense next to Christian Wood because, boy, he can't do that. So I think Mobley will probably line up at the center
from
power
his
forward.
days with the Pistons.
Yeah, and I think the Cavaliers are going to be hoping that the Rockets don't take Mobley because I think that with them already having Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, that they would rather get someone who can play on the inside, the interior. With that being said, I don't think they're going to be looking at another ball dominant guard here, another primary ball carrier in Jalen Suggs. So I think someone on the wing might make more sense. Someone who can score off the wing. And I'm not 100% sure on Jalen Green's defensive prowess because I know they could really use some two-way players on the wing. But I think his upside is too much to pass. I think his fit makes sense here. And what do you know? He's the next one there. So I do think Jalen Green goes 3 to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay.
G League, 6'6", 180. Little thin. He can put on a little bit more weight, but 19, tons of upside.
Yeah, absolutely. He is a huge scoring threat. Already has a little sort of professional experience, played in the G League this past year. So
yeah, I think it makes sense there.
Yeah, no, I can see that. So yeah, you got Raptors at 4. Weird, crazy to think that they were just in the NBA, won the NBA championship just 2 seasons ago,
right.
and now they're picking inside the lottery.
I think this is a good opportunity for them to land a great player.
Yes,
someone who can lead the future.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to do. Their point guard of the future, Kyle Lowry, or not future, of the past, Kyle Lowry. He is now a free agent, so I believe we could very well see Kyle Lowry finally leaving Toronto after he really blossomed and became a true all-star point guard. I think the Raptors decide to go in another direction, younger point guard. Uh, you know, uh, he made a lot of strides during Gonzaga's championship run. So, with that being said, I have the Toronto Raptors selecting point guard Jalen Suggs out of Gonzaga.
I agree. I think that makes too much sense. I think it's the perfect player for the Raptors to jump on here. 6'4", 205, great player. And I think this is really the consensus top four.
Yes.
I do think that this is going to fall out some way like this. All right. Now, the Orlando Magic. Let's see. What do they need?
This could be where it gets a little interesting.
Yeah, they need some versatility. They need more shooting. They were last in the league in shooting. And I think the Magic are a team to watch this offseason to pull off some big move because they're getting there. They have a good young core, and they're kind of one star away from taking that step forward. So I think having this next 5th and the 8th pick, we could see these picks dealt. I think for the purpose of this, we're really not going to get too far into trades. But I think this pick could be moving. But if they stand pat and decide to use this pick, I think the next best player available makes the most sense here. You know, having someone on the wing, the upside is, he has the most upside at this point. Also has that professional experience. And I think they have the ability to take a chance on a Jonathan Kuminga just because they also have that 8th pick there and they can go more specific needs with that pick. But I think the upside is big here with Kuminga. So I think at the 5, they jump on the opportunity to get him.
All right. How
do you feel about that?
So what are some of the intangibles that Kuminga has?
Let's see. I hope he has shooting. That would definitely help them.
Yes. I mean, Magic have a decent young roster. I mean, they got Cole Anthony. They got RJ Hampton in that trade with the Nuggets. Jonathan Isaac, Mo Bamba. They got a good young team. Just need to put it all together.
They definitely would prefer a point guard, someone who can actually run the offense. And that's why I think at 8, they'll target that specific need. But here at 5, they have the opportunity to take the big upside player. He's 6'8", 220 with a 7-foot wingspan. He can defend 1 through 4 and even a 5 with the skill. And those are players that the Magic likes. They like having that versatility in a player. So, he averaged 16 points a game with 7 rebounds and 3 assists. So the offensive potential's there. I want to see more of what his actual shooting percentages were. So that's what they need to improve. His 3-point shooting was 25%. So this actually is, it's one of those where if you can get his offensive game up with the rest of the team, this could be a home run pick. And I think they're willing to take that risk at 5.
Okay. All right. So that brings up the first of many picks for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't know how, but they just keep on getting draft picks. But so this is a little interesting. Thunder have a lot of needs, obviously. I mean, that's why they have 5 draft picks in this year's draft. But
you're right.
It's an interesting spot here. I mean, obviously they have positions of need pretty much everywhere. I mean, they did just get Kemba Walker. They have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, who looks promising, Alexei Savetsky. They got some good young pieces, but obviously still need a lot more. But here I'm gonna go guy out of Florida State, 6'8", got a 7-foot 2-inch wingspan, very athletic, very good winger. very similar to Draymond / Magic Johnson type. I'm gonna go with Scotty Barnes, a small forward out of Florida State, here at 6.
All right, Scotty Barnes. Yeah, I mean, when you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, you take best player available.
Yep, and that's Scotty Barnes in this case.
Okay, and now with Golden State,
yeah, this
pick could also be dealt.
Yep.
But the number one thing they need here is shooting. They love shooting. They need some shooting. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at my board here.
Yeah,
I'm checking on some players because there's a lot that fall into this tier, but I think the Warriors are going to highlight more need here. So I want to see who the best shooter of this range is, because I'm not seeing a lot of 3-point talent here. I'm seeing a lot of ability, but we're missing some 3-point shooting. Like I don't think they want a 29% 3-point shooter, which is why I think this could be an upside reach. But I'm feeling like this is a fit based on some of the things they've done before. I want to check before I. Yeah, I think this is what they'll do. If they keep this pick, I think this is where we could see Franz Wagner go.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it's a reach. I don't think he's that talented. I can't even find him on this board. Do I? Wait, how do it?
Yeah, look under forwards. He'll be in there under forwards.
Okay. But so in building my big board here, I pulled composite rankings from 5 different places to get a good idea of just the how people feel on players. And Wagner, I can see him going as high as this pick or as low as the late lottery. So he split opinions on him. 6'9", 220. He's got an athletic profile, but he's got shooting potential.
Okay.
He's 47, almost 48% from the field, 35% from 3. Wait, did he show up here?
Yeah, he's right under Aaron Henry. Yep. There.
So I think this is where Wagner could go.
Wow. So yeah, right back to the Orlando Magic, who just selected at 5. I think, like you said here, they'll go with the guard here. You got a few good options at guard here. You got Davion Mitchell, Moses Moody, James Bouknight, Jaden Springer. You got a few good solid options here for the Magic that they could use. So that puts Magic in a tough spot, but
I think there's a pretty good option here.
Yeah, there's one guy that's standing out to me.
Let's see his stats.
Yeah, one guy, shooting guard, part of the championship, or never mind, wasn't a part of the championship winning team. But had a breakout
They could take
year.
the guy from the championship winning team.
But yeah, had a good sophomore season with Connecticut. Very good scorer. Does great off the offensive glass. 82% from free throw line and nearly 35% from 3-point line. I like and Gary Harris, he ain't getting any younger. Terrence Ross, some of those 3-and-D guys. But I believe Magic go with James Bouknight here at 8.
Interesting. Okay. All right. James Boonite is off the board. Now up are the Sacramento Kings.
Yes.
Let me cross him off on the board here. So this is tough because there's some very good players here. But do the Kings want to address a need? Do they want to go after? I'm trying to just check their other picks here. Let me see. Yeah, no, they're just at 9 and 39, and their biggest need is kind of a modern big man, someone who can help defend inside but also space the floor. So do you want to go after that, or do you want to add a very talented guard? Because there are some good options here.
Mm-hmm.
But for the sake of this, I'm going to go with Kai Jones because he is this high on my board based on the rankings. And, he's around 40% from three, has the ability to space, can play inside. He's 6'11", 220. So let's see here.
Okay. Yeah,
I
would definitely say he's like the lottery type pick. So yeah, I could see them going with him there.
Well, if you're filling need, I think Kai Jones fits the need. If they want best player available, that's how some GMs work. Then maybe you go with Keon Johnson or Davian Mitchell or even a Moses Moody. But if you're filling needs, I think Kai Jones fills that need.
Yep. All right, so that brings up the New Orleans Pelicans. They got a good young team. They got some nice young pieces in Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Nikhil Alexander Walker, drafted Kira Lewis Jr. last year. But here, you could go a few different ways, but I believe they're going to go with another guard this year. So that brings me back to like I was with the Magic. You got Davion Mitchell. You got Moses Moody, Jaden Springer, Keon Johnson, Chris Duarte. Just a few guards to name. But here I have the New Orleans Pelicans picking a nice 3-and-D wing, dead-eye spot-up shooter, shooting guard, freshman out of Arkansas, Moses Moody.
Okay. Absolutely.
Yep.
Definitely has that shooting ability.
Yeah.
Looking at his stats here, 36 from three, 42 from the field, 17 points a game. I think that fits a need there. Let me just make sure we cross him off over here as well, because with the Pelicans I had. Yeah, see, they do need shooting. They definitely need shooting.
Yeah.
And they need someone at that guard because they may lose Lonzo.
Yep.
But if it falls out this way, the Hornets, they need shooting as well. A lot of teams need shooting.
Yes.
But gosh, I don't know if they would want someone else playing guard. I think they really wanted Moses Moody there.
They did, but sometimes
what other shooters we got
their way.
I don't think Keon Johnson was much of a shooter. Because he's the next highest wing on the board, but I don't think he fills that particular need. No, God, he's 27% from three. That's not helping anybody. God, well, they have some picks later. What's their... Nope. I think they would. I think they would just take him. I think Davian Mitchell goes here.
Okay. I think
the fact that he fell this far to them is going to be too much for them to pass up.
I like that pick there. It's a very logical pick.
I think it's the shooting. It's, they're not going to ask him to do too much. He's going to make the team a lot better.
Just looking at it, San Antonio's a weird team to draft for.
That's right.
only got 2 picks this year. This pick and then 41. Yeah, I'm having trouble seeing what they need,
Well,
but
on my end, I see that they need some point guards, some power, and really some interior help, some help on the front court at
I know
that
exactly
power forward
that's
center
what makes
spot.
it so hard is that they need a guard and they need inside help. So
Well, they do like European players,
I was thinking
and
that too.
there's some guys here they could reach on if they
Uh,
see the upside.
Honestly, I think you're right. I think this will be interesting uh, to see him go here. Uh, I some people have him going top 10. Uh, but I like this dude right here. Yeah, San Antonio has drafted international players at this spot before. So I'm gonna go with a 6'10" center out of Turkey, Alperen Sengun.
Yeah, let me see here. I've seen him going at 9. I've seen him falling to 36. He seems to be one who's split, but if San Antonio likes that, and if they think they can get the best out of him, I could see that
I think
happening.
they could, and I think there's more chances of a good guard being available at 41 than there being a good big man at 41.
Yeah, there's kind of a dearth of that front court help here, and that's why we could see some people like Kai Jones going pretty early.
Yep.
All righty. Who do we have next? The Indiana Pacers?
Pacers, yes.
All right. Let's take a look at what the Pacers need. Pacers, so the biggest need I see here is point guard.
Okay.
You got some.
I could see that.
How's their current roster looking?
Well, they got
check out this
Malcolm
one.
Brogdon, TJ McConnell. So, yeah, they could use a point guard. They got Karis LeVert as their shooting guard. They got the Holiday Bros, TJ Warren, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner.
All right. So are we looking for a playmaking guard or someone who's going to be running the offense? Someone shooting.
Yeah, they Indiana just more so needs a winger than a point guard.
You think?
Yeah.
All right. Well, are we looking for shooting? Because I don't have shooting down here as a need.
No, I don't necessarily think they need a shooter.
Okay, well then I think Keon Johnson makes sense here.
Yeah, that's what I have them going with here too.
Yeah, a versatile winger who can play some defense. Wait, why is he listed as a point guard out here?
This website is not accurate on the positions.
Well, I mean, I guess he is only 6'5", so I wouldn't call him a small forward, but he's definitely going to play guard, shooting guard, that wing spot.
All right. But that brings us to number 14. Golden State Warriors up again. Got Franz Wagner at 7. So yeah, final pick of the lottery. I mean, let's see, what could they go with?
Talent, man.
Yeah.
Does this guy make sense? What position you looking at here?
I'm looking at guard.
Yeah, he doesn't really space. I don't think he'd make sense there.
But yeah, so since you got Franz Wagner, I am going to go with a point guard / shooting guard out of Australia, Josh Giddey.
Yeah, I think Giddey makes sense.
He's
a little less on the shooting.
Yeah,
but he can run the offense.
Yeah, he's a good playmaker. He can play on the wing. Does a great job creating the offense. So I think that would do great with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, help get them open shots.
Because you grab some shooting at 7, you get some playmaking at 14, and you're filling needs.
Yep. But that brings us to Washington. I believe they're only picking this draft, right? Yep. They're only.
Yep. Just at 15, unless there's some moves made. What's the roster look like? Because I think I know who I want here, but I want to double check. Who do they got on the front court?
Alex Len, Rui Hachimura, Denny Avdija, Davis Bertans.
Not much size there.
Yeah, I have them going with like
Thomas Bryant.
I have them going with like a small forward / power forward here.
Yeah. I they got kind of a crowded front court. We're not going to go with him then. Let's see. They probably looking at someone with a little bit more upside. Yeah, they got Westbrook, Bradley Beal. Probably want someone who can play out on the wing. All right, I think this makes sense. Let me check his stats because I have him in this range. Yeah, I think Jalen Johnson fits here.
Power forward out of Duke.
Well, he's a wing. He's a small forward / power forward, 6'9", 220, yeah. Freshman out of Duke. A lot of upside, can shoot the ball. He's 44% from 3, so that's an impressive number. I think if the Wizards get him here, they'll be pretty happy. He's got some upside.
Yep.
And he does fit this range on the board.
Yeah.
We're getting to the part though now. There's going to be a lot of variance. Variance from this point.
Yeah.
Another Thunder pick.
Yes, another Thunder pick. Second of 5. So yeah, first pick.
What'd they get the first time?
Scotty Barnes.
Winger out of Florida State.
Yep. So I mean, obviously Thunder could go a lot of ways here. Few mock drafts that I'm seeing, a bunch of the players they have drafting here, they're already off the board. But
like who? Who's being mocked there?
Have Josh Giddey in 1, Kai Jones in another. So
well, I mean, I think there's another big man that would make sense here if that's the route you were wishing to take.
Wasn't necessarily thinking big man. Maybe like a.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of good big men. There's like one more that would really fit this range.
I mean, I think Jalen Johnson would have been a good fit here, but But I'm gonna have them pick a nice little freshman. He got a lot of hype out of high school. Believe he went to Sierra Canyon with Bronny James, all of them. Played Stanford, didn't play up to as much of the hype that he had in high school, but averaged about 11 points per game, about 30% clip from 3. But I think he'll be a nice pick here for the Thunder. I'm going to go with Zare Williams out of Stanford.
Oh, really? Okay. I think that makes sense. Yeah. right. He's a little, still some people ahead of him, but he's one of those people that, let's see, we got him going as high as, in the 10 and as low as 38.
Yeah.
Some difference of opinion there,
Mhm.
for sure. Now we have the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have an incredibly young core,
Yes.
or incredibly talented young core.
John
And I
Morant.
think this is a good position for them. They have a lot of options here that I think would make sense. And I'm just deciding between two. One's a bit younger and has more upside. One's a bit more of a sure thing and older with experience. So I'm kind of deciding, how do you feel about their timeline? Do you think they want to go more of a shot here for an upside player, or they want more of a sure thing to fit their timetable right now?
Honestly, I think they might go with the project here.
Yeah. Well, the
Honestly, because
project
they
I'm
already
looking
got such a good team, they don't necessarily need a for sure thing.
Okay. I see. Yeah. And then I have one player who's really ranked a lot higher than everyone else left on this board at this point. He
Mhm.
plays shooting guard. He's got some impressive shooting numbers. 6'4", 205-pound
Yeah,
freshman out of Tennessee, Jaden Springer.
yeah.
So if they're looking for a project,
I think I think that's a good pick here.
I think Jaden Springer makes sense. Oh, I didn't have the board listed. Let me get that back up. Have you made all of the the OKC picks?
Yes, and I'm about to make this one too.
That's funny.
Huh.
What have we gotten so far? Wing guard?
Yep, wing guard. Yep, they
Or
got
yeah,
Scotty Barnes and
they have 6 picks. There's
guard.
no way they use all 6 picks.
I mean, for this one, they're gonna use all 5 picks, or all 6 picks. Yeah, all 6. Um. Okay, so yeah, this is where they go with like a power forward slash small forward. Uh,
You taking who I'm looking at?
yeah, I'm gonna have them do maybe this might be a little bit of a reach. He is an international player, but uh this guy's a small ball big. He's only 6'8", 229. Plays a little power forward slash center. Uh, but he's got good movement, agility. Can be a closing lineup type player. But I'm gonna go with the power forward center out of Spain, Usman Garuba.
I think that's brilliant.
I mean,
So
obviously they
that's
got 6 picks. They can afford to maybe do a stash and draft here with
yeah, and I
Garuba.
don't know if that's the situation here. I'm not entirely sure, but
No, I mean, not that
I
they
don't.
would. It's an option that they have though, because they have so many draft picks. They could stash him, overseas, let him get another year under his belt, and then
No, absolutely.
because
I'm
that's what
just
the Nuggets did with Nikola Jokic,
right.
and
Yeah, I
look
just
what
don't know.
happened to that.
Yeah, that worked out a bit.
Yeah,
Okay, so with the Knicks and the emergence of Julius Randle, they got some shooting. They got Derrick Rose. I don't know how long Rose plans on being there. They definitely Mitchell Robinson, Obi Toppin. I don't think we're looking in the front court with this pick. They do have 4 picks in this draft, so that could be addressed at some point. But I think I have a guy who fits perfectly. Let me get a little on his stats. He fits this range right around here at 19. We're at 19, right?
yes, 19.
Yeah,
Yep.
this 19 to 20 range. That's right where sometimes he's higher, sometimes he's lower. We're gonna see that with a lot of these picks. But I wanna check out his profile a little bit so we can get a better idea of his stats here before we pull the trigger. Oh, where'd that go? Yeah, I think this is the high energy shooting point guard. Could get a little bit better at playmaking that they could kind of mold into their point guard of the future. The 6'5", 190-pound sophomore, 20 years old, out of Florida, Trey Mann.
Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of fitting right here on the board, and looking at their depth chart here, I think they could use, an actual young point guard. I don't know how long Elfrid and Rose plan on being there, but it doesn't hurt to get an electric scorer like Trey Mann on the roster. And then they have a pick coming around here at 21, and they got 21, and they got a couple of second rounds, so they can address other things as well. But I think a high upside Trey Mann would make sense here. Then I got the Knicks next pick too.
Yes.
All right, well, let's see. Okay, I think I got.
All right, so yeah, the Hawks making their little playoff run right now.
What are you thinking they're going to look for here, dude? Because I got that same thing. We're hitting that range of the draft now where the seniors are going to start getting looked at, the ones who had good seasons but don't have as much upside.
Right.
And I do have a couple of talented players like that here who just probably aren't going to get much better. Mm-hmm. But there's still some upside swings available depending on the position. I'm interested to see where this one guy goes, because he was polarizing during the season.
I think they'll want another like high level scorer alongside Trae Young. So
I think there's a good option for that for sure.
There is, yep, and I think I'm gonna choose him. That if that's who you're thinking of, but
he doesn't have much playmaking ability, but boy, can he score!
He was an elite scorer as a freshman for LSU. Got 23 points per game, 32. Actually shot 33% from three. I'm gonna go with Cam Thomas.
Absolutely. I think that makes a ton of sense here. I think if they could get more of a playmaker to take some of the load off Trey, they would. But I think if they want someone to help them score, I think that's a great value here.
Yeah.
If I could find him.
He's very bottom, I believe.
Forward.
Or near the bottom.
Freshman, right? Yeah, let's just go to freshman.
Yeah. That worked.
There it is, Cam Thomas. Great name, too. Okay.
Back to the Knicks.
So, the Knicks. We just got a guard for them.
Mm-hmm.
So now I think the next obvious need, of course, we're not going to address the front court here. I don't think it makes sense, is the wing. And this is where I think Corey Kispert makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I like it.
A bit lower upside guy, being a senior at 22, but he's 6'7", 220 out of Gonzaga, and the guy's a sniper. So I think that adds a lot of value to the Knicks right off the bat. Kind of fills a similar role that Reggie Bullock plays.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a pretty easy pick here.
Yep.
I feel good about that one.
But yeah, he fell down quite a bit. I mean, I've seen some mocks having him go, late lottery. So
yeah, I see he's, for me, I have him ranked from 13 to 27. So I think this is the range that he'll go. I feel good about that.
Okay.
Gosh, seeing all these players born in like 2000 and 2002 is Jesus Christ.
Right.
Some young kids.
Older than them.
Okay, we are moving on to the Lakers.
Yes, the Lakers, their only pick of the draft at this time.
I couldn't find a need for them on the lists I was looking at. Didn't have
Yeah,
any
and yet
needs
they're
for the
still out of the
Lakers.
playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
Couldn't even make it out of the first round.
Rockets pick. That's fun. Let's see.
I'm okay. I got my pick. Gonna go with a decently sized freshman here out of Kentucky, 6'10", very physical. Not much of a scorer, but
okay.
he's a good defender. But he does well off the rim, averages nearly 7 rebounds per game. But I like him here. Be able to, be behind Anthony Davis, develop behind him. I am going to go with Isaiah Jackson out of Kentucky.
Yeah, I have him in this range. He's yeah. If the Lakers want to go interior, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because Marc Gasol, he's a free agent.
I don't. Are they bringing Drummond back? I wouldn't.
After the postseason he had, probably not.
I don't think he's a good player, but yeah, no, I think getting a young guy inside makes a lot of sense, especially when they can play defense, take some of that load off AD, let AD go to work.
Yeah.
All right, we got 2 back-to-back picks for the Rockets here.
Yes, fun.
What did we take at the beginning? Evan Mobley, we went, okay. I think that's, if it falls out this way for them, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So we have about 4 options here. I think this is the consensus best player of those 4, because I'm looking at guard here. I'm looking at someone who can probably play some point guard for them. They want to develop a primary ball handler, someone to take some of the load off of John Wall. Let me see which one of these guys brings the best passing acumen, because I think that's going to be important. Okay, Jared Butler, that's definitely a player to consider. Let me compare him with one other guy. Just because, shooting doesn't help. They always need shooting, but wow, that's actually, I like that a lot more.
Yeah.
How big of a swing you think they want to take here? They probably need a pretty big swing, especially with back-to-back picks.
Right.
All right, let's pull the trigger then. I think Sharif Cooper.
That's
huge upside pick here.
Love it. If you weren't going to pick him here, I was going to use him on the next pick.
He could get better at shooting, but boy, 8 assists a game, 20 points, he can play.
Yep.
That's a big upside pick. It could fall flat on their face, but you got to pick right after it. You can go a little safer with. I think that makes a ton of sense, trying to get that primary ball handler.
Love it. Yep. I think that's the right move there. That is absolutely the move to go with there.
We're really fixing some teams here. I'm feeling
yes,
good.
We are. NBA teams, if you guys need like a assistant to the GM, just call us here. All right, so back to back, Houston
Rockets. What are they doing here?
Obviously they fixed their need in the interior. They got a nice little point guard there to help out John Wall in case he inevitably gets injured. So I'm gonna have him go, power forward, small forward here. Got a few available here. You got Johnny Juzang, Greg Brown.
I think I honestly have not seen Juzang in the second round on most of these rankings. Is he leaving? Is he going back to school? Is that why no one's ranking him?
That might be it. I have 2 mock
I thought he was a bigger name
now that have Juzang in the first round.
Really? Because I thought he was a bigger name, but
it was only because he had such a huge tournament. you know?
On my composite ranking, he's a 52. So he's a late second round pick.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think that might play into the uncertainty of him even entering the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No. You're good. You're good. That's fine. So yeah, they could go a few different ways here. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up my big board, see where I want to go with this.
Hope you don't take this guy because I think the Clippers would run to the podium if this guy's available. I think he fits them perfectly. Oh yeah.
I might pick him then if
He's not the position you're looking for.
well, I
He's
might
still
include it
available.
now. I'm looking, and perhaps they could use a shooting guard here. Yeah, actually they could use a shooting guard. So but
Actually,
yeah.
I'm not as confident. I'm conflicted here. Let me see.
I think this guy has some good upside. Played one season. Yeah, I like his upside here. He had a chance to go to Michigan, but snuffed them. But
Good.
ended up going to Arizona State. So I'm gonna go with shooting guard Josh Christopher.
Okay. See, this is one of the weirder ones for me.
Mm.
One ranking, I have him 17.
Yeah.
Another ranking, unranked in the top 65.
Wow.
So
That's a lot.
incredible variance there.
Mm-hmm.
Love the pick. Love the pick.
Thank you.
I think why not? You have all these picks. Might as well take some swings.
Well, that's their final pick. They have no more picks in this draft.
3 is a lot of draft picks. That's a lot of
Yeah,
picks.
some teams have 0.
Okay, Clippers.
Clippers, yes. Did your guy?
I want some of your input here. So the Clippers have, I believe, this is the only draft pick the Clippers have.
Yes, it is.
Do you want a player that can step into this team and make an impact day one? Or do you want to stash a guy? Or do you want to stash a guy that can maybe contribute in 2 to 3 years?
I think they want to play for the now because, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, they aren't getting younger. They don't need to stash a guy, wait a few years. I think they want to go for the now.
Okay. Well, then if that's the approach we're taking, Chris Duarte is the obvious pick here.
Yep.
He is the best player on the board.
Yep.
He's just probably not going to get much better. He's a 42% shooter from 3. He has the ability to pass the ball 5 assists a game. He's a plug and play guy. He's probably going to wait. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong player. His assists are lower. I was looking at someone else.
Okay.
His assists are around 3, but his rebounds are up near 5.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy you plug into your rotation. Maybe he maxes out as a rotation player, but he's 6'6", 190 from Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me, he's probably similar to what's that other guy's name? Dylan from Oregon.
Oh, Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, he probably similar player to Dylan Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
He's a rotation guy, valuable to your team, but not someone you're building a franchise around.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if that's the approach we're taking, I think that makes sense.
All right. So me being a Nuggets fan,
wait up. Let me
very
make this
excited
pick first.
Because the guy I wanted here fell here. Nuggets again, somehow going to get an amazing draft pick at this spot. Traded away Gary Harris this past season. So
take Aaron Henry.
No, I'm not going to take him. No. They're going to get another guy out of the Big Ten. Had a really good season last year. Got some Player of the Year votes. Very good 3-and-D guy. made big strides. Yes, he's a little older. He's a junior, but he shot at a super high clip this past season. 38% from three, 20 points per game. Just an all-around great player. And I think he fits a big need for the Nuggets at a spot where they were injured a lot this season. So I think he instantly provides a huge depth at the guard spot. So right here, I'm going to go with Ayo Dosunmu.
You know, I've been looking at him since the mid-teens, and I'm like, I don't think so. But I bet he ends up at the Nuggets. That's funny. I've had him marked for the Nuggets. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
I think it makes
it's
too
a
much
perfect
sense.
pick for the Nuggets. It makes way too much sense, and I wish the Nuggets had another draft pick because then I'd go with Aaron Henry as a wing type player.
See, Dosunmu
maybe they make a trade with the Thunder.
They
with
could.
their plentiful trades.
I was surprised when I was building these composite rankings. I thought Dosunmu was going to be a lot higher.
I could see that.
He is from 23 to 33. That's his 10 pick range. That's where he's going to end up.
Yep.
That's where it seems he's going to end up. So I think the Nuggets are a good bet for him. It's similar to, like an MPJ pick. They know how to get the most out of these types of players. Although he needs to get better at shooting free throws.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, the Brooklyn Nets. Where are my Nets?
With their stacked
Nets
roster.
Have 3 picks. Their roster's not that stacked. They just have 3 incredible players. So the way I view the Nets draft going,
3 incredible players and then a few nice role players,
right?
Yeah.
So the way I see their draft going is they're not going to be too concerned about upside. I think it's really we're going to take best player available. I don't think need factors into it. I don't think position matters as much until they start taking people. But I think best player available is going to be the approach. And the consensus best player on my board by a few points is Jared Butler. I got him ranked around a 22, so I think getting him at 27 is value for them. He's a point guard, shooting guard out of Baylor, junior, 20 years old. He's 6'3", 195.
Yep.
He was the one I was looking at earlier with around 5 assists per game and shooting 42 from 3. So I think he has the potential, to be around that 6th man spot starter at point guard, a valuable role player. I think he makes their approach is most likely going to be best player available. I think he's the best player available.
Okay. Yeah, I could see them doing that.
A junior?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, junior. Yep. Average 16 points per game. Shot 41% from 3, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah, just sniping.
Yep. All right, so that brings us to Philadelphia. Got the 76ers here.
Philly, which is going to be interesting to see what this pick actually materializes at based on what happens with Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm going to make this pick based on the fact that I think he will get traded this offseason. So,
is that how we're doing this?
Yeah, sure.
However you want to view it, man, it's your pick.
Yeah, exactly. I have him going with a guard here. I'm gonna have him get a guard here. There are a few good guards still on the board. It's just tough to decide which one I want to go with, but Okay. I am, let's see.
Gosh, I have Scrambling to pull all these stats up. We're starting to get really down here in the players.
Trying to find him. I can't. Maybe I'm
Who
not.
are we looking for?
I don't want to spoil the surprise. Yes, there he is. Okay. So I am going to go with a highly athletic lead guard. Really good at locking up opposing ball handlers. Got a little better on the offensive end. Leader on the court. 6'2", sophomore out of West Virginia. Point guard Miles McBride.
Yeah, I was telling you before we did this.
Yep.
Miles McBride's one of those players not on the board or in the top 20.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I have them going here to the 76ers.
All right. Where'd you end up finding him? In freshman?
Sophomore.
Sorry. Okay, there we go. All right. And I like what I'm about to do here. So
Suns,
we're here with the Suns, and I'm looking at a player because in my my thing here, my needs that I have listed for the Suns, they could use a bigger wing, and obviously shooting's always coveted, especially in where the league's at right now. And I'm looking at a young guy. He's 18, born in 2002. It's about 13.4 points a game, 6.8 rebounds, shooting over 40% from behind the line. Youngest captain in Sabonis history, and he's one of the youngest players in this draft. So I think it's one of those big home run swings that the Suns are going to take to try to, continue to build and move to the next level. Rocco Prakasin, I think that's how you say that.
Yes, out of
Rocco
Croatia.
Prakasin, 6'9", 210. International player. I think he could, if the development goes well, he could be an incredible player for them.
Okay.
Really be a difference maker. But that's one of the biggest risks in this draft for sure.
Oh, absolutely. It always is like that with international players.
Especially this 18-year-old kid, but
yeah,
he's got pedigree.
Yep.
The Jazz. Do you know why the Jazz are named the Jazz?
Why?
I was watching some videos on this at work while I was doing some paperwork. They used to be in New Orleans. And the New Orleans Jazz is a really good name because it's the Jazz capital.
Yep.
Then they moved to Utah, where there is no Jazz presence.
No.
And they kept the name. So.
All right. So the Jazz, here.
Need?
I think they're going to go with the small forward here. I mean, Bojan Bogdanovic, had a great season. Obviously, help the Jazz get a first seed. But I think they could use a little backup guy here. So yeah. I'm gonna go with the guy who had an explosive let's see if I can find him.
Yeah, who we taking? I got a couple of power forward, small forward types that fit this range.
Well, I was going to go with Johnny Juzang here, but I don't see him. I can't find him.
Let me see something.
I don't think they put him in here. All right, you know what?
Okay, I don't think he's like a soft commit for the draft.
Okay, then what I'm going to do is I am going to use his teammate here as his pick. So it has Jamie Yaquez in here. So I'm just going to draft him and say that it's actually Johnny Juzang.
Okay, well, let me see. He's a sophomore.
Yep, sophomore. Just like Juzang. But yeah, Juzang had quite the tournament. Helped them get to the Final Four. But yeah, right here it says hasn't committed to staying in the draft or returning to school yet. Borderline first round player. Averaged 16 points per game, 35% from three. So yeah, I like Johnny Juzang here if he does stay in the draft.
See, and this is where the composite, I was telling you, I don't know if he gets drafted, but I think that it's more of a product of the uncertainty of him even entering the draft, but sure. Okay, and we are
done with the first round.
Take a small break here.